Is this your spouse? Yes or no?
That's my girl.
Well. Welcome back.
Hey everyone.
You're looking live on Colin Jackson, waiting on Thomas to join. We gave him a good extra few minutes. He hasn't joined yet, so he might join in the middle. I don't know.
Busy fighting for freedom.
So last week we didn't get it done. I'm sorry. That's on me. I had a really busy week last week.
Me too. It's on me as well.
So, but here we got a two-weeker, I guess. 2 weeks in one. We missed last week's. Who the number one was you, Cole. So Cole, congratulations on your first week. And the last place was still Cam. No, it was JB, correct? Yes,
it was JB.
I think it was JB last week. So we got a whole new week of power rankings. And cool. Cole, I wanted to ask you some questions though, just as a person. Okay. And I want you to rate from 0 to 10 your panic meter. Because we're 4 weeks in. So kind of right now is like you're kind of learning what defenses are good, what defenses are bad. You know, oh, Geno Smith just went off against the Lions, or is he good? And so, panic meter on the Panthers offense, 0 to 10. 10 being
Panthers offense.
Panthers offense. DJ Moore, McCaffrey, Baker, who was started by John 1 week.
I mean, in terms of like how good the actual offense is, like a 8 panic meter, it sucks. They're awful. Christian McCaffrey's obviously still good, and he's still going to do good in fantasy, but that doesn't mean the offense is good.
Right.
I would say an 8.
An 8. And DJ Moore, yours truly, big swing and a miss.
Yeah, I love DJ Moore too.
Not even, I could basically drop him right now, I think. He's doing really bad.
People aren't tough. Like if Baker does bad this season and he's like backup after this, like it's only been like 4 or 5 years.
That's right.
He was the number 1 pick.
Yeah. I don't know. It's I heard a thing where it's pretty crazy stat. I mean, it's pretty out there, or it's a bit of a reach, but it's first round draft picks or first overall quarterbacks, or maybe it's like top 10 quarterbacks, that the success rate of them playing like in the first 5 years of their contract or whatever, or their
getting that second contract,
career, going to another team, the success rate for that is so bad. And so you're seeing 2 of them on the same team, and Baker and Sam Darnold both not. Because it's kind of like a team invests all this shit in you, and and then they're like, no. But then the Panthers were like, oh, this guy was really good coming out of college. We can fix him. But it ends up not working. There's other examples too. I'm trying to think of that one guy that, I forgot his name already. He was drafted by the Cardinals.
Carson Wentz.
So bad. No, Carson Wentz, that's true. Or he was drafted by the Cardinals. He was so bad.
Oh, Josh Rosen.
Yeah, Josh Rosen. Yeah, he went to the top. Yeah, it's like all those kind of players were
awful.
Like, wow, interesting. So maybe Baker is just not good. I don't know.
Possible. I mean, he had
never been good. So
he had that really like promising rookie year.
That's right. he was super accurate. So this okay, panic meter on kind of last week I was gonna ask Allen Robinson, but kind of now it's just the Rams outside of Cooper Cup. Because
Yeah.
I guess Higbee's been really good, but is Stafford just not what he was last year? What's
I
your
would say,
thoughts of Allen Robinson?
I mean, Allen Robinson panic meter is probably about like a 6, but the Rams probably like a 4. I think they'll figure it out. They may not be Super Bowl contenders, but I'd be surprised if they don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean your defense on Monday night, this past Monday, I mean torched them. I mean
Hmm
it looked like they were different on different levels.
And
Um,
they could have had more interceptions than what they had. There was a lot of drops.
Yeah, Stafford doesn't look very good this year. No, I
No
love Stafford. I don't know what's up with him.
Super Bowl hangover.
It's
Like I
a Super
don't.
Bowl hangover, so I don't know. And then, okay, so what do you think about Russell Trash some?
I was a. This has been a really big surprise for me. Um, I haven't given up on Russell Wilson yet, so I would also say about a 4 or a 5. Um, I still think they can have a good season. Obviously, they're in a really tough division, so that doesn't help. But
Yeah, you gotta win games like tonight against the trash Colts, to compete. Especially in the AFC, if you want to. I mean, right now you're looking at a wild card with the amount of AFC teams that are supposed to be good. You're gonna have to get 9, 10 wins to get a wild card. Um,
yeah,
but what's really interesting about the Broncos, one is I am a pretty avid Wilson not liker. I'm not gonna say hater, but he hasn't looked the same since like Marshawn Lynch left the Seahawks. And like
since they made the Super Bowl.
I remember how good he was when he was running around, and he still had a big arm, and he had DK and Lockett over the last few years. But I just didn't over the years. I don't know. I never bought into Wilson. He proved me wrong a lot, but
Well, he always started off so hot and then cooled down after like 5 weeks.
yeah, right.
So maybe he's just doing the opposite this year. He wants to finish strong, which would be better probably.
Yeah.
Um,
And here's just an NFL topic is that going into this year, I mean, I heard people that were saying that all 4 AFC West teams were going to make the playoffs.
yeah, is that even
And
like mathematically?
yeah, I think
I'm sure it is,
only
but
3 wild cards, so they could all take it, which is crazy because they would all play each other twice.
yeah.
But
I mean, they're definitely all playoff, like I could see them all being playoff like contenders, but the fact that they have to beat each other, and obviously at this point we know the Raiders aren't as good as what people thought. The Broncos aren't as good as what people thought.
the Chargers were really banged up. The only good
Chargers
Chiefs
are
look
really banged
good.
up.
The Chiefs look really good, but
Yeah.
going into this team, people were like, all 4 of them are Super Bowl contenders. It's crazy. And then guess who's the best division in football after 4 weeks, record wise? The NFC
Tennessee East,
Cowboys, Commanders,
Cowboys.
Giants at 3-1, and the Eagles at 4-0. So
That's
4-0,
no,
3-1, and I
they're
don't
like
know.
by far the best, or I don't know if they're by far, but they're all killing it except for the Commanders.
I don't know what they are. It might be 1-3, 2-2.
Yeah,
Um,
something like that.
but pretty crazy. I had one more panic meter. I was going to ask you, but that might have been it. Anyone been a bust? Oh, what about okay, I mean this is a different one. Najee Harris been pretty trash, right? He's not getting the workload that he was last year. And
Yeah, their offense as a whole.
fantasy wise, I think you're more concerned than you are in real life. He looks
Yeah,
fine.
like if I'm the Steelers, I'm not that like I'm sure they still really like Najee Harris. Um, their offense just is awful so far.
Mm-hmm.
And other than like Deontay Johnson, my guy, which he's still not putting up like he's like wide receiver like 30, but he's getting like all the targets. It's just not a lot of completions.
Yeah, right.
But in terms of where they're at this season, I mean, I don't think, I think you panic like an 8, but in terms of like his career, I wouldn't
like
be
it's
worried.
football wise, he's fine. He looks good. He's from
Yeah.
this season, the first round running back. which is interesting. Like last week, things kind of changed because this week 3, a lot of players like Eckler really, Eckler finally came around. And week 4, Eckler finally came around. Derrick Henry's kind of showing out last couple weeks. He's back.
22 and a half
The
points
first
over the
few weeks,
last.
there's like a little bit of stutter, but even you've got Najee Harris, you got Joe Mixon that hasn't been crazy good.
Dalvin Cook hasn't been
Dalvin
insane.
Cook hasn't been insane. So a lot of the first
Jonathan
round,
Taylor, obviously.
yeah, Jonathan Taylor, obviously post week 1, yeah. So yeah, a lot of those first round running backs are kind of scary right now. So
Christian McCaffrey's been good, but not like great.
right.
I mean, yeah, it's
only been 4 weeks. We're not panicking on those.
Yeah.
But still, I think
Who's the number one running back?
Najee Harris is probably the scariest. I think. What now?
Who's the number 1 running back?
It's Nick Chubb.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I know CEH is up there.
Yeah, so Saquon's 2 and CH is 4, which is not
3.
gonna stand. But it's pretty. If you start the season 4 weeks in, we can talk about this when we get my team, but when you have a RB2 and RB4 after 4 weeks and you're 2 and 2, you gotta be disappointed, because I'm not gonna have that at the end of the year. I'm not gonna CH is gonna be the RB4 at the end of the year, So
Yeah, someone out there in the world went RB heavy, and I think you could realistically get Nick Chubb, Saquon, one of those in the first and second round, and then CEH in the third. Someone did it.
Oh, I drafted CH in like the 6th round.
Exactly. Yeah, you could realistically. Yeah, you wouldn't even have to go 3 straight running backs.
Well, it's even like, I mean, Nick Chubb was drafted at our end of the second round. That's where
I know.
taken. And Saquon, really, and like I don't know what rankings they were all looking at, but like I know in the ESPN ones, he was like going 30th overall, which is like what's that's middle of the 3rd round. So I mean,
Yeah.
you could have gotten, you could have a pretty stacked RB team. But then again, it's like I'm like, why did I draft Nick Chubb? I love Nick Chubb. I was like, oh shit, he's drafted in the 2nd round. So it's like, a lot of these people, you had high expectations of Nick Chubb anyways.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Chubb has always been really good. Like, I think people just kind of forget that he's like consistently like a
right.
Huh?
He's so good.
Yeah, he's like always a top 10 running back. Like,
yeah, especially with no Watson, like they gotta, run the ball a lot, and
even when he comes back, they're gonna have to
much.
Huh?
Kareem Hunt isn't as involved.
Yeah, he's had a. I mean, he's been putting up like 7 or 8 on my bench, but yeah, I mean, he has his games.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, that wraps up the NFL talk.
All right,
we can jump into.
I will start.
I don't know where Thomas is. He said he was joining. That was like 15 minutes ago.
Was he gonna in like the very end, like last time?
Yeah, like last time. We'll be like, yes, I just made it. No, you didn't.
All right.
Hey, go Colts tonight for everyone. That's I hope you took Colts +3 because we're gonna win.
I don't think I did, but
we're gonna win 10-7 tonight. So
okay. All right. Week 4. We got to go a little bit quick, but number 12 should be no surprise. It's JB. Will Russ ever cook? We'll see. Also, this was after 4 weeks last year. This is where our league was at. We had 0 4-0 teams.
Wow.
3 3-1 teams. 6 2-2 teams. 3 1-3 and 0 0-4. And now we have multiple 0-4s and multiple 4-0s.
Wow.
So
to touch on JB's team, I mean, so he's had Kamara and he's got Swift that have been pretty bad. Kamara's another first round.
Swift's been good. He missed last game.
He's hurt, right.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's that. I saw like Kamara's there's like the fullback on the fullback on the Chargers, I think.
The fullback.
The fullback on the Chargers, his name is Xander Horvath. He's got more fantasy points on the year than Kamara does.
Kamara.
Xander
Oh my God.
has 4 touches. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. And like I mean, Alvin Kamara's in like legal trouble. You don't even know if he's gonna
Yeah, right.
play the
And
rest.
Kamara was hurt, so it's like, but Horvath had
Yeah.
4 touches in the first 2 weeks instead of more fantasy points than. So
All right.
so.
Number 11 is Cam. None of
Ooh.
those two. It wasn't an awful week for
A pretty
Cam.
good week for Cam, actually.
103, yeah. Considering he's got 95 point, whatever. That's pretty good. I don't know what everyone voted in my poll, but he's dead last or first in points for, however you want to look at it. So you against the usual grain of what Cam is usually used to. Josh Jacobs heavily carried this team. He had 32, which is like a third almost of the points, but who cares? Number 10, we've got our first movement. We've got Jonathan moving down to number 10, which Jonathan had a good week. He had a good week.
He did.
But he's also 0-4. And it's just been a rough season. He has
he's got the 6th most points for.
I know. But
127 lost.
I know. I'm sorry I had to do it to him.
But I mean,
he was playing
I remember I played Jonathan week 1, and he always beats me week 1, but I had the most points for him. I think he had like the 2nd most points for. I mean, remember he almost beat me on a field goal. So
yeah, he's like Cam. He's had some bad luck in terms of points against, obviously. But the main story here, panic meter, Kyle Pitts. What are you at?
10.
10. I mean, he was inconsistent last year, but holy moly.
He played 60% of snaps last week.
I don't even.
This is the 4th overall draft pick like 2 years ago.
The highest drafted tight end ever.
It's crazy.
I mean, does Marcus Mariota just like hate him? That's the only way. That's the only reason.
No, it's Arthur Smith, and it's like,
well, he played him a lot last year.
And Arthur Smith is like in the press conference. All my Falcons coworkers were like pissed off because in the press conference, he's like, they asked him about it, and the guy's like, well, and Arthur Smith's like, well, we like threw him the ball, but like he's got to get open, or like they just made a good play on it. And it's like you can scheme him open, like give him a wide, like he's an athletic specimen, right? Like give him a wide receiver screen, let him get the ball. That's what you're a trash team. Falcons are trash.
Hey, they're not bad, honestly. They're frisky.
They're not bad. They're better than the Colts, though.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. All right. Number 9, we've got a 3-1 team, and that's Zach.
Oh, he's not gonna like that.
I know. I rewarded him. He was top 5 after he went 3-0. Obviously, he's getting a little lucky.
Are you kidding me? He's got the number 11. He's got the 11th most points for.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So it's a little. There's a reason he's number 9. He really hasn't been great. But
it's that fantasy defense coming up clutch.
Yeah, number 1 or number 12. I have to look at the poll. Yeah. But he started Marcus Mariota, which is wild.
He did. Well, I was like, that's a good pick. I mean,
his other option was Geno Smith, which would have been crazy to look at, but also would have worked for him.
That's who he's starting right now.
And he only needed 4 more points to win. Like, he didn't need that many points. And if he would have won, I would kind of have no choice to put him in the top 4, probably.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, sorry, Zach. Number 8, we've got Thomas, who usually Thomas would move up, or any team would move up more than 2 spots after putting up 151. But a lot of the really low teams lost, and a lot of teams that he could have jumped also won. So he just kind of had some bad luck. But if he keeps winning, he's number 4 in points for. Obviously, this past week helped a lot. T.J. Hawkinson, I mean, the best game of his career for sure.
Right.
But man, that was kind of came out of nowhere. Good week for Thomas, and if he does that next week, I'm sure he'll find himself near that top 5.
Yeah, Hawkinson was the 8th best fantasy performance from a tight end ever.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
I wonder who number 1 is. Like Gronk, probably.
Yeah, or like Tony G. He used to have some crazy ones. You know?
I'm sure Travis is up there.
Or like, what was that guy's name?
Antonio Gates.
No, it's the tight end for the Broncos that had that one year that was crazy.
Oh shit!
Like Jordan something Jordan.
He was so good.
God, that's gonna kill me.
All right, I'm gonna take a.
Oh, his name, because that was the first fantasy year we ever did.
Julius Thomas.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he was goated for like 2 years.
Yeah, because he was because Manning would just throw it to him every time they got the red zone. But I remember the funny thing was it was our first ever squad. It was the first season of this draft, and we did it at like the Irish Bread Pub or something. And it was like we were drafting like the Thursday night of week 1, right? Or something. And
right at the wire.
And I was sitting there watching. Julius Thomas scored 3 touchdowns. And I was like, I'm gonna draft that guy. He was super good. So
good. Yeah. And then he just kind of wasn't that great. But
Manning.
There's a ton of people like that. So anyways,
Brady and Fournette kind of had a better week. Cup's really good. Jamal Williams, while Swift is out. I mean, he's got a good team.
Yeah, I mean, he better hope Jamal Williams leads the league in like rushing touchdowns. He's second in the entire league in points.
It's crazy.
You want to know who number 1 is? Daniel Carlson.
In fantasy points?
Not fantasy. No, not fantasy.
Oh, like points. Oh,
yeah.
I can tell you one thing. It's not motherfucking Jake Elliott. That dude, you can go pick him up on the waivers. My man's terrible.
I mean, if I could get Daniel every year, I would. He's so good. He's obviously kicker 1.
Jake Elliott on the waivers right now, if you want.
All right, number 7. We've got your team.
11th place king.
2-2. Very consistent. You're 8th in points for and points against.
Okay.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Good game from him. You didn't really have anyone go like crazy, but you also didn't have anyone just like throw up a huge dud. Brandon Ayuk 5.7, it's not great, but like you really didn't have anyone do super bad. Saquon he's the real deal again, so that's awesome. How are you feeling about your team?
I really like my team. I think I've got some really good depth, especially at wide receiver. And Burrow can keep getting 20 points. Like I think I'm gonna be pretty good.
Yeah,
he's kind of been a question mark. He hasn't. He's been okay the last few weeks.
So you started the year as the number 1 team, and then you quickly got down to like last place, and now you're in the middle.
Last place. Whoa, now.
Were you?
No, I wasn't last place.
Were you? You were definitely close.
I don't know.
I don't know. I have to look.
I was like 8. Because I was 1. I would have been 1-1, and then I had the most points for and the least points for back-to-back weeks. I don't know.
Fair enough.
It's your call.
All right, number 6. We're getting to that top.
Panic meter 9.5 on DJ Moore. Just thought you know.
On DJ Moore?
Yeah, that's my 4th round pick. Go ahead.
Yeah, at the end of the year, I'm gonna look back and see. Each team is gonna have some great busts, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But there's definitely some players that are shaping out already to be those busts.
One more comment on my team. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Keenan Allen. My man.
He's old.
Pulls a hammy in the second quarter of week 1. He's got 8 points, and in the second quarter, I'm like, this is going to be great. I love Keenan Allen. And then he pulls a hammy out of the game. The next Thursday they play, okay? And they're like, he has a chance to play. He's a maybe 50-50 shot. And then he doesn't play. It's now week 5, and he might not still play. So
Michael Thomas as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's hurt, too. Hopefully they can get hurt.
DJ Moore is wide receiver 50 right now.
Yeah, well.
And he was probably, you said he was 3rd round, 4th round?
4th round.
So he was probably like 10 to
20, 30? Probably around 20, I think. probably.
picked. Yeah, maybe. Anyways, number 6, it's Sean, who falls a little bit. Did take a loss, wasn't horrible. He's had a solid season, 5 and 7, so that's usually around 6. Jonathan Taylor, what the fuck?
Yeah, don't ask me.
I mean, that first game was great, but I'm the panic meter on him is like a 3. I think he'll be fine in fantasy. He may not be a top 3 running back like you would expect him to be, but I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, everyone's saying that last year Jonathan Taylor was like ranked, I don't know what he is, but ranked 27 or whatever, RB's 27 after 4 weeks, and this year's also RB 27 after 4 weeks. So don't.
What did he end up being RB1 at the end of the year?
Yes. But I, as your community Colts fan, am on panicking on John Taylor because our offense is significantly worse than it was last year with Carson Wentz, and that's saying something. And our
Is the offensive line still good?
Bad. The O-line is not good. It's not good.
Quentin Nelson's not just making everyone good.
Yeah, he's pretty good, but I don't know. We've got a new center, Matt Penner. He's not like great, but
I mean, obviously,
Braden Smith and Big Q are the best two. And
yeah.
And Matt Ryan's bad.
Yeah, he's got what, 6 fumbles already?
Yeah, it feels like more.
Something like that. And the record is like 10 in a season. So look out for that. Oh yeah, Sean's team, Nick Chubb, obviously is just kind of awesome. And I'm sure Jonathan Taylor will pick it up. But Kittle, I mean, obviously he's been hurt. He's shaking off some rust, but they threw the ball to that man like twice last game. And maybe it's still early, so
I really wanted Kittle going into this year. I really wanted.
I always want Kittle. He's one of my favorite players.
And Big Zacharoni and Cheese told me that his little fancy guru said that he was just going to be a blocker this year.
I mean,
I didn't.
It's looking like that so far.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So,
anyways, number 5, it's
Eton.
Martin Cole Clark,
he's gonna be
who is number 2 in points for. Number 2 in points for. Obviously had an awful week. He was number 3 last week. I was really impressed by his team. And then if he would have eked out a win, he probably could have been maybe second because Caleb also didn't do good. But instead, you're number 5. Pretty much everyone was underwhelming except for T. Higgins. He had to start Tony Pollard. He didn't really have any better options.
Right.
Obviously Tony Pollard is like good running back, but it's pretty risky to just start a backup running back technically.
Yeah.
And Lamar Jackson couldn't carry him, so
yeah, I kind of worry about Cole's team with just the running back production hasn't really been great, but then he had back-to-back 40-point games from Lamar Jackson, which is definitely gonna help him score this year. But
and I mean he's number 2 in points against teams are only scoring 87, so he has gotten, and he already has 2 losses. So there's a lot to like and there's a lot to dislike.
Yeah, he's got Kelsey, he's got Lamar. So those are 2 huge.
If Najee turns it on, like
yeah, right.
But all those players could not turn it on.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, number 4, Heath moves up 3 spots. Pretty good week, 111. It's no 150, but Austin Eckler kind of had the game that we're all waiting for. Sounded like Heath was ready to give up on him. He was mad. Obviously, Josh Allen has I think he's put up 20 every game at least, so hasn't had a bad game yet. But other than that, there wasn't like a ton. Obviously, the potential to fall is there with Heath because Javante's out. Amon-Ra St. Brown is hurt. Who knows how long he'll be out? He missed
Right.
practice for the second straight day today.
He did.
So I think Javante being hurt, he wasn't doing great before, but he had a ton of potential. So right now, Heath is 4. Who knows where he will be in the coming weeks?
That's right.
All right, top 3. Oh yeah, sorry, I haven't done the memes pictures yet, but I'll get to that before I post it. Number 3, we have that name, Tiny Giants, kind of. Oh, I wrote in Chinese, it's Xiao Juren, and in Japanese, it's Ko Kyojin.
Nice.
So
pretty authentic.
Yeah, totally. But it looks cool.
It does look cool. I like that.
Yeah. 85 points. Got lucky. I mean, we can say it. And Caleb had been really good before that. I mean, he's still number 3 in points 4. And I think he's like exactly tied, or he's 0.1 below Cole Clark. So he's essentially number 2. But also hasn't been tested a ton.
Right.
His stud of the week was Gerald Everett with 14.6. So
pretty tough.
No one really did good.
Yeah.
Obviously, Gerald Everett exceeded expectations, but didn't look great.
Yeah, and I'll touch on some of his players. So Pittman's again, Colts fucking terrible. So
yeah, I still have hope in him because he was so good for me last year.
I think he'll be fine. Cordero goes to IR. Old man.
Yeah, that's big.
That's gonna hurt. Dalvin hasn't really been himself. I don't know, in 2 years, because I had him last year and he was really bad.
Yeah, Caleb was really obsessed with
Did you
Dalvin.
know that Jalen Hurts? Oh, I don't remember what it was.
Did you know he went to Bama?
I did know that. I don't it was something crazy where it's like if Jalen Hurts, only his rushing fantasy points is like a top 20 running back or something like that. And then you also add in his quarterback points. I don't know. Someone else could back me up on that. But pretty interesting. I also touch on the Monday night game. We jump down. There's 3 games. There's your game. There's Caleb Zach, and there's Heath Sean. I was like excited. I was like, gonna sit there and watch some really intriguing fantasy football like drama. And then like Caleb's game was over like the first drive. Kittle didn't do anything the entire night. Well, there was a moment where he might have caught a touchdown, and your defense like killed him. So it was like a disappointing game from Jackson. I was excited to watch some down to the wire stuff, and it didn't really work. So, anyways,
yeah,
cool.
Sometimes fantasy football is about luck. So
that's true.
Not much.
That's all about luck. That's all it is.
And if Cordero goes down, he's got J.K. Dobbins, who looked really good this past week. So hopefully he can, sort of take that spot. Yeah, we have 3 undefeated teams left, obviously, and me and John Smithard are playing each other. And if Caleb loses, we could be down to 1 undefeated team by this time next week. So we'll see who's the last man standing.
Into the next person.
Yeah, the next person.
Look at that.
It's John, who moved up 4.
Wow.
Moved up 4, which I wrote in this. He only scored 105. It's a pretty good game. He averages 102, which is 9th in the league. Obviously, like 105 last year is better than 105 this year. But it was a solid game. And the reason he moved up 4 is because, Cole Clark lost, Zach lost, Sean lost. All those teams were ahead of him. And he just took advantage.
Right.
Miles Sanders went
damn good. He's damn good this year.
Yep. And I'm sure Heath is mad about that. He started Baker Mayfield over Aaron Rodgers. which,
Right.
yeah, Aaron Rodgers is struggling. He's QB 21. But Baker Mayfield,
Yeah, that's a tough decision.
he had 5.8 points. So
Brandon
didn't
Ayuk-
work out for him.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, I wouldn't do that again, John.
Yeah.
He's starting
Probably
Rodgers
is.
this week, so don't worry.
He's starting now.
Rodgers, so here comes the 40.
Probably a good idea. All right. And that brings us to drum roll.
I'm gonna start making my own power rankings, Cole.
Why, you don't think it's fair that I'm number
I'm gonna
one?
be number one every week.
That's basically what I'm doing right now. I scored 150, which I'm a little bit upset wasn't the most by 1 point,
That's right.
but it's okay. Averaging 129 per game. That's awesome. I'm sure that won't last because that's just kind of a crazy number.
Right.
But the main takeaway I had from this week is obviously PPR is increasing scoring,
Right.
but I had 5 players score over 20 points.
That's pretty wild.
I doubt that has ever happened in this league. Usually when someone,
I've seen that happen before. I think
we'll ask you.
Donovan's team last year, his team was pretty crazy.
I feel like usually when teams like get like 150 or whatever, it's because someone gets like 30 plus, or yeah, 5 players getting 20 is crazy. I only had one
Only
bad
one
player,
person.
and that was James Robinson.
Only one person under 13.5 points, which was James.
Yeah.
Robinson. Trash.
And he's been great this year, besides this week. So
Right.
whatever.
You starting next week? You are?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Debo, awesome. Tyreek, awesome. Derrick Henry, back. Averaging 22.5 points over his last 2 games. So
It was interesting
out.
watching that game. Like the Colts, like the only really good thing we have going for us right now is our run defense, and like OK, and like Grover Stewart and some of our D lines like really good at that. And they were doing like some really cool things to get Henry the ball like out in space and stuff, which they weren't doing the first couple weeks. Which on this podcast I was like, they're not passing him the ball. Like last year, you'd see he just like, and they give him like 8 blockers and he'd go for 40 yards, every other play. And it's like, they weren't doing that anymore. So yeah, he looked good. He looked really good. And, ran all over the Colts.
yeah. Who was the Colts' first round pick this year?
We did not have a first round pick. We had a second round pick. His name's Alec Pierce. He's a wide receiver out of Cincinnati.
Has he done anything?
He's actually the best game last week, so it's pretty good. He's a little white guy. He's pretty good.
Oh,
I know.
second rounder. White guys moving on up.
I know. Well, he was a Cincinnati quarterback. Oh wait, all right. We have 60 seconds until this thing.
All right. Well, that's the last one. So, thanks for joining us, Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas. Hey, Thomas. How you doing?
Really good input that you had.
How do we call him? And I'm like, you can get on. He's like, yeah, I'm getting on right now. And then he just never gets on.
That's such a Thomas move. He does that. That's like quintessential Thomas.
I know, right?
And it is what it is. All right.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna finish.
Go Colts. And
Sure.
Cole's gonna post this, and I'll have this up probably tonight. So good luck this week.
All right. See ya.
Stop.